You need to work for what you're worth. Yo, this is crazy. I was not expecting that much support, man. That is awesome. Thank you so much to everybody that looked at my video and everything, man. That's just, man, that's awesome. I was not expecting that. Oh my god, I got 11 views. Like, I literally looked at it and it said 10, and I looked back, like, not even a minute later, and it was like 11 views, dude. It blew my mind. I have like 3 likes and something like 3 subscribers, man. That is awesome. I can't believe my first video was received that well. And honestly, man, it feels great, man. I just want to thank every single one of y'all. Even if you're new, man, and you just clicked on my video, thank you so much, man. It's just awesome. I was not expecting that. And like the crazy part is I didn't put this out on Facebook. Like, I didn't even tell my grandma I was doing this. Like, I didn't tell any of my family basically that I was doing this or anything. Like, that is nuts. I was not expecting that. I just want to take a little bit of time and just thank y'all, man. That's awesome, man. That was everything, bro. Like, that was everything. That just made my day for real. But nah, man, I want to go ahead and make my second video now. Just because, like, that floored me, man, and it really kind of motivated me. And I already wanted to, like, stay more consistent on my posting and everything, and I've even shot like some other videos and everything, but I just haven't really got enough time to edit them and just make them what I want, before I put them out. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that gave me any kind of support at all, man. That was just awesome. That was awesome, and thank you so much. But no, man, I kind of want to talk a little bit more about my schooling career, just because I mentioned that in my last video, and I said that was like a whole other story I would get into. So I want to go ahead and do that. I want to go ahead and get into is school important? And school, here, I'm going to fix this real quick. But school can be important. It just really depends on what you're trying to do in your life. Me, personally, this is more about my experiences with school rather than the facts of the school system. But I really didn't do good, man. Like, honestly, it's one of the more embarrassing things to talk about for sure, but nah, man, I did awful in school. I never really did my work. And if I did, it's just because I already knew what it was. Like any kind of question that there was that I already knew the answer to, I would answer it. But other than that, I would just guess, and I would just make things up. And, dude, it's crazy that my video was that well received. That's just nuts. I'm sorry, I'm still tripping on that. But, nah, man, I actually, I did pretty bad in school. I actually failed first grade. That's how bad it was. And I wound up starting a year late, mainly because my dad just didn't want me to start at the time. Don't really know why. I don't really want to put my foot in my mouth and say, oh, it's because of this, and because I don't know, in all honesty. But he didn't want me to start that year, and my mom basically just respected that decision. And this is kind of a little spoiler for my next video, if you're watching them in order. The main reason my mom supported that is because my mom and my dad never really had that great of a relationship. My dad, like, lived separate from my mom, and I would, like, visit her, and I would live with her for a little while. And then I'd come over here on the weekends when I wasn't going to school, or like over the summer, and I would spend time with him. Now that I got that out the way, she basically just respected the decision because she didn't want to create a bigger division, right? She still wanted me to have a mom and a dad and, a decently normal family at least. She at least wanted me to know who my dad was and spend time with my dad because, I mean, just to be real, a woman can't raise a man. She can raise a boy, like, there's nothing wrong with that, but she can't teach a boy to be a man because she's just not a man. She can teach him to have a backbone and everything, but, regardless of the factor, like, I can't teach a girl how to be a woman because I'm not a woman, and I never have been. I've never even been a girl. I can only tell you, the morals that I believe that you should follow. That's all I can do, and that's it. And I'm not saying that that's not good enough. It's just she wanted the best for me. So I wound up starting school a year late, and then once I got into first grade, I failed it. I failed first grade. And then I failed, I want to say like third, and then I failed fifth, and I failed sixth grade. I failed ninth grade, and I wound up dropping out 20 years old as a junior. And it's just because I never took school seriously. I never took it serious at all. And I just didn't care, man. Every time that we got homework, I just never did it. Every time that there was like a school assignment or anything like that, I just never really cared, never really did it. Whenever it was a test that we were supposed to study for, whatever, I never studied for it, and I just guessed on all the tests. Like, if there were multiple choice, I was guessing. Like, I would just go and I'd just start filling in all the bubbles, trying to make patterns and stuff, just whatever. I didn't care. And it got me a whole bunch of nowhere in my schooling career. Honestly, I failed so much that, it got to the point where it didn't even matter to me at all anymore. Just because I felt like no matter how hard I work, I'll never be able to get caught up with where I should be. And it sucked mainly, again, because, every time I did fail, I was with younger and younger kids that were just a year behind me. Like I would see them, leaving or just going into the lunchroom when we were leaving. And, it was like, it's like when you're in fourth grade, all the third graders, you just don't talk to them, And I never really talked to them or anything like that, but then all of a sudden you get held back, and now you're in a classroom full of them, and you kind of can't avoid it anymore. And everyone's sitting there like, wait a minute, weren't you in fourth grade last year? You know what I mean? And then everybody in the grades above you are like, again, a lot of people won't pick on you to your face. They won't sit there and tell you what they think directly to your face. They'll kind of go behind your back. They'll talk to your other friends that you were friends with last year, but now y'all aren't friends. Y'all barely see each other. Y'all barely hang out. And they start to care less and less about you. And you start caring less and less about them. Let's be real. And that really sucked. Just because I wasn't able to be around the people I was around last year. And I didn't like that. I mean, it's not a good feeling. You just feel like you're stupid, and everybody treats you like you're stupid. And yeah, man, I just did not do a lot at all. And a big part of this is I just want to tell y'all that school is important, and that you should finish school just because it is going to make things easier for you down the road. Not a whole lot easier, but easier nonetheless. And it's things that you don't have to go back and try and fix later, when you shouldn't even have to worry about that at that point. And like, because I'm already moved out. Like, I'm 22, I'm going to be 23 in July, which is like 3 more months. So, and I still don't have my GED, and I have to worry about that now. I have to think about, I have to go back and take the other part of my GED to try and get further in education, so that way I can hopefully get a better position at a different job somewhere. And but the fact of the matter is that if you don't even have a GED, even if you do have a GED and that's all you have, and you don't have any form of education beyond that, or even that in general, employers won't really treat you with respect at all. They'll just offer you a job at whatever pay because they know you have to take it. You don't have another choice. It's not like there's a competition for who wants you as an employee. That's not a thing. And that's not gonna be a thing. And that sucks, And honestly, I'm probably going to wind up living like this for the rest of my life, working day jobs. Like, right now I'm working a night job, and it sucks, but it's the only thing I could get. And with a fiance that's trying to go through college, because she actually made a lot of the right decisions when she was younger, and I'm working hard to try and support her dreams and her admirations and what she wants to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I wish I was in the same boat. I wish that I got to choose what I went to go study later on in life and try and make a career out of it. But see, the thing is that just because you have an education doesn't mean that you will be successful 100%. There is no guarantee for sure. There's never a guarantee. Just because you have an education doesn't mean you just magically get money. That's not what that means. It just means that you're going to be presented with more opportunities to make more money later on down the road. And you want that. I mean, who doesn't want more money, right? But the thing is most people that go to college wind up not being able to pay for it. And it costs a lot of money to go to college. It doesn't just cost a couple $100, and boom, you're in college and you just do your courses, and then before you know it, you paid like a couple $1,000s and you're out of college. No, you owe tens of thousands of dollars sometimes, especially depending on what you do in your school career. And you can wind up owing as much as $50,000 by the time you're done with school. And you have no way of getting that money, of course, until you get done with school. So, and the thing is that they don't just give you that money to pay them back later. It's a lot more complicated than that. It's not like I just give you a couple $1,000s and boom, that's it. You have a couple $1,000, just pay me back later. Like, no. It's more of like an interest rate. So, let's say I loan one of y'all $1,000, right? The thing is that with the interest rate, once you start making payments on it until it's paid off, your rates keep going up, especially if you can't afford to make big payments on it soon. And what'll happen is you won't owe $2,000 anymore or $1,000 anymore. You'll owe $1,500. Then you'll owe, $2,500. Then you'll owe $3,500 and $4,500. And meanwhile, while you've been trying to pay off all this money, your debt still stays the same. You don't actually make any leeway. You don't make any traction. You don't make any progress towards paying that debt off and living debt free. That's not how that works. But if you do good enough in school, you get grants and scholarships, and you get these things that help you go to school for either cheap or even sometimes free. And if you work hard enough, and I mean you make straight A honor roll, I'm talking about like 4.0 GPA or a 5 whatever, but you have a really good GPA, and you go to school and you do really well. Sometimes they'll actually pay you to go to school. They'll actually pay you money to go to school for free. And that would be awesome if I could just go to school and get paid for it and live the way I do now. That would be incredible. Like, that would be absolutely incredible. But the thing is that you have to work really hard for it. And if you don't have a high school diploma or a GED, it is a little bit harder to get one once you're out, just because you have a job, you have a lot of bills to keep up with, so you have to do your job. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. No, this rent has to get paid every single month. Every month your rent has to get paid, regardless of what's going on in your life. And you have to see through to that happens. And if you wind up having kids, and you still don't have your GED, that's even worse. Because, and I'm not saying having kids is a bad thing, it's just, it's harder to do. It's harder to maintain, especially since you're not making that much money in the first place. And it almost feels like someone somewhere is trying to suppress you. It almost feels like, it almost feels like they don't want you to be successful, or someone somewhere doesn't want you to be successful, and they just keep pressing this button, making sure that you don't get what you need every time you make an effort to get it. They just veto it. And that sucks, and it's very discouraging. And me, honestly, I've grown to understand that you don't just live because you have the right to. You don't get a house just because you're human. You don't get a little apartment and a little slice of life just because, you had a rough childhood. Or, that doesn't happen. You get treated the same as everybody else, and you have bills to pay. And the thing is that when you really think about it, why do I have to work just to live? Like, why do I have to go out and put in all this effort for someone else so I can be okay? Like, if you're homeless, you don't just, you don't just get hungry and just all of a sudden, someone's like, hey, you want this food? Like, no, that doesn't happen. People don't just give you things. If you're thirsty, you need to find a way to water. You need to get there. You need to, if you're hungry, you have to go to the store and you have to buy food. It's not free. People don't just give you things, and that's something that you really have to understand. And the thing about school is a lot of kids go to school because, they don't want to let their parents down, or they don't want to let their grandma down, or they don't want to let their family members down in general. And the thing that you have to understand is that you're not really letting them down. Regardless of how bad you do in school, you're not letting them down, you're letting yourself down. You're taking the wind out of your sails. You're hindering yourself, you're not hindering them. And that's a big thing to understand. It's just the fact of, you're letting yourself down. And that's basically it. That's what you have to understand. Is, it's not their job after a certain point to take care of you. It's yours. And once you understand that, you'll really start growing up a lot. You'll really start understanding a lot more about, the things that are important and the things that aren't important. But the thing is that, I work nighttime jobs, go in at like 6 o'clock at night, and sometimes I don't even get home until 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I get paid pennies for it. Like, I essentially don't make money off of it like that. I still live paycheck to paycheck. There's just, I just feel like I'm going nowhere. I feel like I'm just pedaling my wheels to go a whole bunch of nowhere. Meanwhile, the people above me, people that were either born in the right situation or went to school to work really hard for where they're at, either way, I'm basically working really hard to make them rich, and they give me the scraps off the plate. And I'm pretty much going to live like this for the rest of my life if I don't get an education or I do something else with my life, which is a big part of why I want to do YouTube. It's a big part of why I'm actually making these videos. I'm going to be 100 with y'all. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm not going to tell you, oh, I'm doing this because it gives me an awesome chance to express myself and that's it, because that's not the truth. Yeah, it is a cool platform. I do enjoy expressing myself and I do like making videos. It's cool. But my end goal is to not have to work a day job or a night job like this. I make $10 an hour, and to some, that make $7.50 an hour, they got it even worse. And I literally had to go through like 5-6 jobs to get this one. So it's definitely not the best. And you should feel like you need to do better in your life. Anything that your parents are doing, try and shoot higher for that. Because in the end, your parents are going to get old. They're not going to be able to take care of themselves like they used to. And either you're going to have to do it, or they're going to struggle. Either the tables are going to get turned from when they used to take care of you, and now you have to take care of them. And if you don't have the money to do that, then your parents are just going to rot. And that's just the truth. They're just going to have a lot of time, or a really hard time dealing with all of the struggles they have now, you know, and it's not the way to go, you know. And I hate working these jobs, you know, like I hate leaving my fiance and telling her like, well, I'll see you tomorrow, you know, when it's nighttime. Like that should be the time where like I'm cooking dinner, I'm getting ready to cuddle up next to my fiance and go to sleep, you know. Like those should be the more intimate times of the day, but they're not. I never get to really see her that much, and that sucks, man. That really sucks, dude, and I want to be in a better position than that, because I feel like I'm worth more than that. You know, I really do. I feel like I'm worth more than $10 an hour when I'm at work. Like, I don't get paid just to be alive. And I think that that's wrong. I feel like everybody has the right to live. I feel like everybody has the right to life. But just because you're alive isn't enough. And it never will be enough for a lot of people. And that's just the truth of it. It sucks. But it's true. You can't expect to go anywhere just because, you know, oh, well, I'm hungry. That means that someone's going to feed me. Oh, well, I'm thirsty, so that means I must get water somewhere. No. It doesn't work like that. You have to work for everything, even if you're homeless. Like, you're thirsty, you better walk to the store and get to a water fountain. You know, you better go inside that fast food place and beg them for a cup with some ice water, because you don't have any money. And I believe I'm worth more than that. And you should too. But yeah, man, this has already been a pretty long video, a little bit longer than my last one. And yeah, man, there's a lot of baggage to really get out, because I really want to just talk about my life and things that I've done. I do have criminal charges, you know, so if y'all want me to talk about that, it's all in my juvenile record though. It's all when I was just young and doing stupid stuff, like getting in fights and armed burglary. That was something that I got arrested for. But also, if y'all want to hear more about like how to deal with more deep personal problems, like, you know, let me know, because I've been through a lot of that too. Like, my mom and my dad wound up breaking up when I was 9 years old, and I never saw my dad again after that. And my mom died when I was 18, you know, and I was just basically living in my grandparents' basement for a little while. And that was just a few years ago. And as you can see behind me, I got my own backyard now, my own fenced-in backyard. I essentially came from absolutely nothing without an education to making it work because I had to. And if y'all, you know, need any kind of advice or anything like that, or y'all need just someone to talk to, hit me up on the comments, you know. And like I said, you know, I'm still trying to get questions so I can do a Q&A. So if you see this, you know, and you're just like, wow, you know, well, I want to know more about this or whatever, you know, just hit me up, and I'll do a Q&A, or I'll just tell another story if y'all want to know about that. But until then, I'm just going to keep doing me. You know, I'm just going to keep doing what I feel like I need to do in life, and I hope y'all do the same. Until next time.